Good morning, Mike Gould here, Mayor of Hounds, USA, also known as Fabio. I'm here with my little friend Hazel. It's Monday the 29th. This is her first day of our boot camp with Dolce. So we're doing them one at a time. The trick is always to have control over the dog. You need a mechanism to control the dog without restraining the dog. That's the key. So the first thing we do is just put a piece of this nylon kennel lead, it's called. So that's the first thing we do with all dogs that come in here. And we correct bad behavior by snapping and releasing. And this is all about energy. So by me being down on the ground, just by being at the dog's level, I'm adjusting her energy. So with all our dogs in boot camp, we fit them with a nylon collar just to replace this, because this is kind of loose, it falls off. This is going to be more of a permanent thing. So this, we slip it over the dog's head, and then we attach a more permanent leash to it. That's it. So that's done. So from this day forward, from now on, we're going to have slack in this leash. We're going to correct bad behavior by snapping and releasing. It's not choking. It's not holding. It's a snap and release. When you see a dog sniffing, he's hunting or investigating his world, which is fine and natural, but not when he's there under your control. So you have to teach them to check with us before they investigate or hunt, right? So if a puppy deviates away from its mom, it gets killed by the wolf. So the same premise here applies. So the first thing we do, good girl, we pet the dog, touch the dog, physical praise. So that's the positive reinforcement, is the praise. Good baby, this is it. No food for this. The food only comes when a dog goes in its den. And we're going to talk about that throughout the next 12 days. It's all about simple things. Denning animals go in their den and eat their food. Period. That's all their meals, any type of food. So, in theory, by the end of this 12 days, the dog is going to really seek out its den. And it's a great benefit to the pet owner. So, relaxed. I'm going to ask Hazel to heel. Good girl, Hazel. She walks on my left. I turn. Good girl, Hazel. Good girl. This is the first behavior. Good girl. Heel. And you walk. Good girl. You watch her tail come up. She's on my left side without pulling. That is it for our first behavior. We're going to go get Dolce and do precisely the same thing. Okay, today is still Monday, the 29th of January. This is the other half of our little family. This is Dolce, and pound for pound, Dolce has more energy than Hazel. So he's a ball of energy. So he needs the same thing, boundaries, but just a different boundary. So pound for pound, he's tougher. The biggest mistake I even noticed when the clients came in, the pet owners, they had a harness on one dog and a retractable leash on this one. That allows the dog way too much thought process. So the harness allowed Hazel to pull Dad. Dad's no small man. But the dog was able to pull, go in whatever direction he wanted. The retractable leash also allowed Dolce to go wherever she wants. So it sounds good on paper, but it's not good, because pack animals need leadership. So the first thing I'm doing now, again, I'm down on the ground, I'm loving. When I'm balancing out the pack here. When she pulls on the leash, I put a new collar on. This is the way it's going to stay. So we're going to, and the other part is, there was a lot of talking. So dogs don't talk, period. They don't talk. So we make sounds, sit, stay, but really they don't talk. The trick is, for the first day or two, the dog just can't pull. So he's investigating, and that's fine, but there's no tension on this little piece of cloth at this point. He crosses a boundary by jumping, I just want to take him off. I love him when his 4 feet are on the ground. See, so all of these are little tips. We praise, positive reinforcement, when their 4 feet are on the ground. When there's tension on the leash, which there's not, I walk heel. Good, good boy. I turn. Good, 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 good. So I do make sounds. They don't know the definitions of the sound. Good doggy. He's on the left. And this is a ball of energy. You've got to balance that out. So when you have multiple dogs, you have another energy force. So in this little pack, there's 2 humans, 2 dogs. Each one comes to the table with a different set of communication skills. Most times people start talking to a dog. That's a mistake. Oh, because dogs just follow the leader, kind of. So when he started to investigate odor, I corrected him. He's gagging a little. This is because he's uncomfortable with this type of collar. All right, we're going to cut today's first day of Dolce and Hazel's boot camp. Hazel on our left side. She's difficult, she's young, she wants to get in front. So she trips us. We ask her to sit. Hazel. Sit. Good girl. The trick is no tension on the leash. If I'm going this way, I turn to the right and I correct her. Heel, I go straight, she's on our left. This is an important behavior, that she's not pulling on the leash and she's on her left side. Good girl. Regardless of the distractions. When I stop, I always ask her to sit. Hazel, sit. And she sits, not for treats, for love. So this is just a continuation of what we're doing. Never tension, correcting bad behavior, snap and release, promoting good behavior. So regardless if she sees a flag, another animal, sit. So Hazel, sit. Good girl. That's good for today. Okay, so here we are continuing with Hazel's behavior. Notice she's always got a leash and collar on when she's under our supervision. This goes for both dogs all the time. So she's a young, exuberant puppy. She's crossing boundaries. She's being loved by Jackie, but she's also wants to go too far. She's crossing boundaries. The next behavior we're teaching her that's important for both dogs, all dogs, is to go to a designated spot when we ask her to. And that's called play. So Jackie's going to stand up straight. She's going to say the dog's name and point to the place. And she's going to start walking. Say it again.
Go place. Go place. Go
Good.
place.
She balks. She needs to be thrown in. That's good. Good. Close it. So understand, that's when this behavior gets marked. So it's good to see that she didn't want to go. So she has to go. It's like a child going to a crib. Then we turn our energy away and forget her. And she's in her crate. We're going to cut for a few minutes and then we're going to let her out. Okay, so continuing with our crate training, it's important you don't allow the dog to manipulate us. So she's young and a dog learns by barking and crying, it gets a reaction of the pet owner. So we have to ignore that. And if there is this continual barking, number one, we ignore it. So this wouldn't be a time that we'd let her out of her crate. She's got a leash and collar on now only because she's under our supervision. When she's quiet, that's when I'm going to move in and let her out. So I'm going to cut, and I'm not going to allow her to pour, and we're just going to relax. Okay, as you see, the leash is hanging out, so if she's barking and whining, we'll probably sometimes pick it up and correct her. But now what Jackie's going to do is let her out. Open up. As long as she backs away, she's going to correct. And now she's going to release her. Good. So something important happened there. It might not be obvious, but she backed away from the crate. So she jumps. Jackie raises her leg. And now she goes about her business. Leash and collar on. Call her.
Hazel.
And she's going to get her excited or get low. The good thing with Hazel, she's very food motivated. So we're teaching her not to jump.
Hazel.
And Jackie's just petting.
Go place. Go place.
Good. Close. And we mark that behavior with a treat. And that's it. And then we walk away and you go about your business. And we don't get sucked into her energy. If she continues to cry, what I'm going to do is reach down and correct her with that thing, because this becomes manipulative behavior. She's a little bit of a puppy, and this is how we're going to work. The only time the dog gets a treat, only time, is when she goes into her crate. We don't lure her in with the treat. Okay, we're cutting. Okay, here's the Dolce. She's on my left. She's another ball of energy, plus she's low to the ground. But look, she's on her left. She's looking at the camera. There are a lot of distractions. There's buses. So she needs to be on my left. I'm relaxed. She needs to keep up with my pace. When I turn, good girl, she turns, I praise. When I stop, she needs to sit. Dolce, sit. Good girl. This is the fundamentals of heeling and sitting. This is directed at everything else. It's connected. We're going to go inside, so she's on my left. This is heeling. She can't be pulling. There can't be tension. I correct. You got to watch. I go at a nice pace. Good girl. We're going to cut and go inside. Okay, following through with our little friend Dolce. So she's a very active, confident dog. They both need structure. They need to know what the rules are. So again, the only time she gets food, it's not for the other behaviors that you're going to see us doing, the sit, the stay, the heeling. The only time she's going to get a treat is when she goes in her place. All right, so Jackie's going to stand up, head over. She's going to correct her if she thinks she's... So the dog makes an assumption just because Jackie's getting there that she's going to get out. So she's just going to correct with the crate door. And it takes a little while for the dog to understand. And now she's going to open it and say, okay.
Okay.
Okay releases her. She's going to get low.
Okay.
Good. She's going to love. Same thing. No boundaries. So Dolce's a little bit less likely to jump on Jackie right now. Okay, so the leash is on. Nothing's changed. Now Jackie's going to put her back in her crate. She's just going to say the dog's name.
Dolce, go please.
She's going to head her towards the crate.
Good girl. Good girl.
The same thing. The dog resisted for a moment. She marks that behavior with a treat, and then she walks away. Now, if she was really going in her crate for the day or night or whenever we can't supervise her, we obviously slip that leash off and she stays in her crate. And in a perfect world, when we start finishing up, there'll be a crate. And obviously this crate is way too big for her, but there'll be a crate right next to her for Hazel. And this is, if you just stick to these basic fundamentals, your life will be easy. So she's more mature. She's less stressed out being in there than Hazel was. So we just got to keep everything in perspective, understanding they're two completely different personalities of the dog. The breed does not matter. Jackie's going to go back just for while we have her here to give an example. So she just had her coffee. She wants to interact. The dog watches her hands. She's going to correct. The dog backed away. She's going to correct her again, open a little further. Now she's going to release her.
Okay.
She says okay, gets low, and then and this is it. So the dogs, all dogs' needs have to be met. This is where she's loving the dog. In the middle, go sit on the couch. She's going to do her loving in the middle of our den, not on couches, not on human spots. And the dog is going to survey. She's heading right to where the food is. Now Jackie's going to stand up because she has to go to work. She's going to say the dog's name.
Dolce. Dolce.
She's going to pick up her leash and say, go place. Good, nice and relaxed. Slow things down.
Dolce, go place. Good girl, go place.
Exactly, so she's encouraging.
Good girl, go place. Go place.
She resists, just like our other friend. Closes, marks the behavior every time with food. This is the regular meal. All food comes from there. And that's the end. If you stick with this, within weeks, that's where both Hazel and Dolce are going to be. And they're going to be nice and quiet.